and he showed it today. He made it all pay off for me. I took the risks, and he made it pay off. He made the best of his opportunity, but it's nothing against Leonard.
Thanks.
All right, next up we're going to have Scott Reynolds.
Hey, Bruce. You know that you're no risk, no biscuit. We certainly saw that right before the half. Your decision to call the timeouts, get the ball back, and it paid off for you with that field goal. Can you just talk about the thought process there and then the execution really on behalf of the Vikings with that penalty to get some points for you?
Yeah, it was, when they ran the ball, I didn't think there was enough time. I thought there was time for us to either try to punt block or try to get a return. We just missed the return. And Tom did a great job of executing, getting us up there for the Hail Mary, and that's all we were trying to get. It was, try to get to the 36 for a field goal or get a shot to the Hail Mary. We got the call and got the 3 points. We came right back with a touchdown. So anytime you get that double score, it's huge.
And speaking of field goals, certainly Dan Bailey struggled, certainly helped you today. You've been on the opposite side of that last year with some inconsistency at kicker. Can you just talk about Bailey's day versus Ryan Suckup's day today?
I can't talk about Dan, but I can sure talk about Ryan. He had a heck of a day. I think he was shocked on the extra point that he missed because that's never. But he drilled that. I had no doubt about it. He made that field goal, which was, it made it a 2-score game, and he's been great for us all year.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, we're going to go over to Greg Allman.
Bruce, your pass rush seemed to come up at all the right places early on. It pushed them into a punt from a field goal. And some of those field goal misses today were where your defense backed them up for a longer kick. How important was that?
It was huge, and I knew coming out of the open date, tackling was going to be an issue. It is in December anyway because it's so long since the last game that you tackle. You just don't tackle in practice, and you can't. So I was upset about the tackling in the first quarter, but I really was really happy with the pass rush, and pushing those kicks back were huge the whole game.
And Bruce, given the troubles that you guys have had with turnovers and some of the recent losses, how big was it to have the offense go the entire game without any miscues, any turnovers today?
Yeah, I think the only thing we had to drive start with a penalty that was really ticked me off because we only had about 30 seconds off the clock because of that penalty. But, I think our team is, especially offensively, is really – they're in sync. They know what we're trying to get done, and Tom did a great job protecting the ball and making big plays.
Thanks, Bruce.
You bet.
All right, we're going to go over to Jenna Lane.
Hey, Coach, I know that Tom's throwing it to whoever's open, but I know Scotty Miller had been targeted like twice in the last 3 weeks. How much of a priority was it to get him involved today and to get him involved on some of those deep passes?
None really. He's the deep guy on that pattern. Tom read it out and he hit him, but it was not designed to go to Scotty. It was designed to go somebody else.
And coming off of not just the bye week, but having 2 losses before that, right? Like you can't get that bad taste out of your mouth and play the next week because you got the bye. How big was it for you guys to be able to come out of this with a W and head in the right direction?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, we had to do this. It was a big game for us. Guys did their job. They rested. They took care of the virus. We came back clean, healthy, and, and it showed up today. We were a very fresh team, I thought, in the fourth quarter.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to Ira Kaufman.
Bruce, if I would have told you at noontime today, an hour before the game, that you would have ended up running the ball, Bruce, more than you threw the ball, you probably would have been a happy camper. Was that kind of the game plan going in?
I think, Ira, yes and no. I think games dictate how much you run it. What's the score at the end of the third quarter? And, we were leading, so it leads to more runs. And Rojo ran really, really well, especially that last drive. And we wanted to set up some play action. Didn't hit it as many as we hoped. But, that when asked early this week about our identity, I think we just showed our identity. We can do any damn thing we want to do.
And, Bruce, the O-line as a group, no sacks and pretty good run blocking.
Outstanding. They've been good. Man, they've been good, knock on wood. When they're healthy, we're good. And those guys have been great. Just the dependability of all 5 of those guys being here every single week has been fantastic.
Thanks, Bruce.
All right, we're going to go to John Romano.
Hey, Bruce, there was a point in the third quarter where they closed it to 9 and had first and goal. Winfield comes up with a big sack that pushes them back. Could you just talk about the way this kid has played this year? Does he look like a 22-year-old to you?
No, not at all. And he and Tristan should be hitting the proverbial rookie wall by now, and we joked about it all week. And, both those kids are they're mature beyond their years, and especially in football acumen. Tristan is playing lights out. I don't know if there's a better right tackle in the league. And right now, Antoine he's just so heady. He studies. He's got his dad to lean on, and he's got all the coaches to lean on, and he puts his time in.
All right, we'll go over to Sarah Walsh.
Hey, Bruce, these last couple games that have come down to the wire and been close, can you just talk about what your defense did in this fourth quarter to really just end it when they should have ended it, especially against Kirk Cousins, who has been so good in the fourth quarter this season?
Yeah, I thought two things. We stopped them. Offense came down and got the field goal that made it back a 2-score game, so we knew it was going to be it was hunting time for the defensive line. And I just thought we got after him really. Our secondary played good. We got after Kurt. He didn't stand in the pocket very often, very long, and that's what we can do. If we get rid of the running game, get him in a two-score game that time in the ball game, we should be getting after him.
All right, we have time for a few more. We're going to go over to Scott Smith.
Coach, back to Antoine and the performance he had today. He led the team in tackles, had one of those sacks. To do it against a team that you mentioned earlier in the week he grew up rooting for, obviously his pops played for him, what it means to him and to have a career performance against his home
I'm
team.
sure. I'm sure he's elated. Family's probably elated. Sure, when you watch the team you grew up watching, your dad in the locker room, it's huge. I can remember when Peyton played the Saints. It was the same type of thing. So, yeah, Antoine, when he got the blitz sack, I just loved to see us pick up that fumble and score. But that was a great job by him.
And then I just was curious, at the end of the first half there, the field goal at the 1, how much thought you gave to trying to punch it in?
None. To get a chance at points, we were not going to take any chance of not coming out with any points. It was, it was a risk to do what we did, and it paid off for 3 because we had the ball coming out for the second half, got the touchdown. It's a 10-point swing.
All right, we'll go over to Greg Allman.
You still have 3 big games up ahead, but in terms of what you tell your team, how much did you guys help yourself by getting this win and getting yourself ahead of the pack here for the wild card with 3 games to play?
Well, we got the tiebreaker on these guys, and this is a good football team. They're going to win some games down the stretch. We're one day at a time. And that's what I just told the guys. It was a great win because it started on Tuesday. We had great practices Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And, again, this week's different. We can't meet Mondays and Tuesdays. So we have another different way that we have to handle getting ready to play a ball game. And whether it's virtual, however we get it done, we'll get it done. And just make sure that we take care of tomorrow's business tomorrow.
All right, our last one's going to be from Rick Stroud.
Bruce, when you guys only had 5 plays on offense in the first quarter, I mean, what's the conversation? How difficult is it over there to wait to get your offense back on the field?
Yeah, it's frustrating because, again, we had a manageable third. They dropped the coverage and came back and hit Scotty. It's a good play by their defense. We went to the right guy, and they just made a good play. But, yeah, it is frustrating when they're running the ball like that against our defense. We're just not used to that. Again, it wasn't anything